I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah. This all God, this ain't no love. Yeah. I used to be.
He had cancer at one point, right? When was the heart attack? When was the stroke?
Okay.
Trevor is already helping families this morning. So, good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. How are we doing? Good. Looking a little tired. We wore out from this week.
That's my normal look.
Well, it's good to see everybody. I see Miss Allison, you're driving. Make sure you drive safe, ma'am. It's good to see your face. So I want to just congratulate everybody on our second week of actually building, right? Like, it's kind of crazy. We've been talking about this a little bit, setting up some systems, but this is really our second week in the books. So we are going to talk about some numbers, obviously how our conversations are going, and then we are gonna get into the meat of it. So give me just a second here. Oh, that is the wrong presentation. You guys are quiet. Somebody talk to me. Nobody's even said hello. Good morning. Somebody hop off mute.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Kristen. How are you feeling?
Good
Oh,
morning.
goodness.
Good morning. Fighting day 2 of migraine, so we'll see how it goes. This flu is not like it's been evil and it doesn't want to completely let go. So I'm taking the weekend off and then hopefully be back at it like normal. Monday would be nice.
Give yourself grace. You know, you got to rest, but you do look better. You look like you're feeling more like yourself. So feel like you're coming around.
I'm more at 80% than, so I'm getting there. It goes up a little bit each day. That's the important part.
Well, good. You definitely sound and look more like yourself today. So it's good to see. Real quick, we're going to jump in and go over numbers.
Hold on, I got pause.
Oh,
I got pause. Sorry, I'm done. I was helping Robert. He's got a bunch of appointments. Mrs. Adams,
Yes,
I need you to smile, lady.
I know.
I know you got a lot going on, and I know you're getting your butt kicked right now, but this is a reminder we all love you and care about you. And don't sit in your head and like beat yourself up over what you got going on. It's all going to work out for good. We are here for you, sweetie. And, you know, I know it's tough, but know you're not doing it alone, okay?
we love you so much.
Thank
Love you,
you.
Brandy.
Love you, Brandy.
Love you, Brandy. I can't
I
do
love you
I
guys.
can't do enough
Thank you.
hearts.
Oh,
Trevor 1, Brandy 0. Got her to cry today.
Dang, Trevor.
Hey, I'm the one usually crying, so that's a win for me.
He had to throw somebody else under the bus today. Yes, we do. We love you so, so much, Brandy. And, you know, a lot of people here have some personal stuff going on, right? And I'm very grateful for this team that, although, yes, we're in business and we work together and we're here to accomplish goals, the heart of what we care about is you, right?
Right.
So,
yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you.
absolutely. So rolling right into numbers, I'll give Brandy a minute to collect herself. So rolling right into numbers, we killed it this week. You guys, I know we're kind of finding your footing, I think some of you are starting to realize why structure and schedule is huge, especially when you enter the world of building. Definitely big shout out to, of course, Miss Heidi. I don't know that she's actually on the call this morning, but she has
here.
been. Oh, you're here. Hello. Good. No camera. You knew I was going to come for you. So, you want to talk a little bit about the last 2 weeks? Obviously, you've been quite busy. I want to hear a little bit about what you think has gone well in your recruiting and promoting the opportunity and the conversations that you're having, and maybe what you think like, I didn't do that so great. I could work on that. Do you care to be transparent with us? Because you are putting in some activity.
Yeah, I guess I could turn my camera on. No judgments.
Do
Just
it.
kidding. Yeah, so like, um, I pretty much, I don't know. Okay, so I'm a little overwhelmed, and also I'm starting to get like a flow going, you know what I mean? Like the first like week or two, I was really just like completely overwhelmed with like having interviews and trying to do things. But I figured out like a schedule that works for me. I made sure to like block off very specific times for interviews. So like my interview times are from 10 to 2 or Monday through Friday. Like that's it. You know what I mean? And then my Saturdays are specifically for dialing, but like having it set up to where I only have the interviews at a certain time and leave like my evenings open for dialing has really like been able to bring some balance and get me yeah, just in balance and feeling more like in control of what I'm doing as opposed to just like a chicken with my head cut off. Um but
Right. Throwing the noodle at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
yeah. And I like that's kind of what I'm doing as far as like recruiting, I mostly just talk to the people that I'm talking to. You know what I mean? Like I'll ask them a couple questions, kind of like what brought them here and stuff. But mostly I really get into the like, tell me who you are, obviously if you have questions sort of thing, but like really I just talk to them about like what my experience has been here, versus like where the company that I tried to start at that was an MLM, you know what I mean? And just tell them like, this is what our team does. This is what we do. If it's something that interests you, like I'm more than willing to like, share the opportunity with you. And I
Awesome.
figured, the people that are going to stick are going to stick. There have been a couple people like very few, but after like a 2-minute conversation with them, I'm just like, this is never going to work. I'm just not even going to like waste our time. And maybe I'm an asshole for that. I kind of feel like maybe I am, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
Hey,
Um,
I'll go ahead and take that pressure off of you. A lot of conversations that I've been having. So you're like 2 weeks into this, obviously had a lot of experience now after the last 2 weeks of being just blown up with interviews, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of the new builders or people that, started having interviews this week, they were like, what do I need to look for? What questions do I need to ask? How do I know if I don't need to hire them? And it's like you almost start to get this gut feeling, right? Like we can teach people sales, but are they going to be coachable, right? We can teach people how to sell policies and products, but are they going to be here to serve families, right? And so it's almost like as you start having those conversations, almost immediately you can start to feel, is this person, going to be a good fit or not? And it is just based off of, like you said, that conversation. You can't tell from a resume. And to be completely honest with you, you can't tell from an interview. I know that's shocking to some of you, but guess what? This is a volume sport. We don't know if people are going to make it until they get through licensing. We don't know if they're going to get through LMT until they're there, right? Doing the work and showing up for themselves. So with that being said, what is one thing, and I think I know the answer, but if you could share, Heidi, one thing for new builders, let's say next week they're going to take on interviews. What is your one piece of advice you would give them before they get started? Brandy looks like she's got something she wants to say. All right, Brandy.
No, I want to know what Heidi has to say. I said, please tell us, Heidi. I want to
She's
know.
like on the edge of her seat.
It's really not that hard. Like it's really not like there's no I love how Trevor has said, like, we're not hiring people. You know what I mean? Like there was one chick, like I could tell she was super just like not responsible, not like, I was just like, there's no way she's gonna like do this. And then one person that I could tell like just gave a shit, like all they cared about was money. And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm not.
Yeah,
That's not happening.
but it's not your job to judge that. So you have
Right.
to take that off. Now, again, it's your business. You can do whatever you want. You don't know once they get around the culture and the people, what that's going to do to them.
Yep.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
You don't know. Again, I mean, I really mean it. And I mean this for everyone. You don't know how someone's going to turn the corner when they get plugged in. And again, if you get the feeling like, I just don't want to be around that human being, cool. Like, I get it. There's a chance you're really capping yourself, because that person might have been stuck in corporate America their whole life, or stuck at jobs and never had one good boss ever, and has never ever actually seen a real leader. And then when they get plugged into a system with real leadership development and real leaders, it might totally turn that person around. And some people are very, very money motivated. That's okay. I don't mind that, because I know what the culture will do once they get around it. Right? Like if you're too, and this, I mean this for everybody, I'm not across the board. You were saying it. What you described was hiring. You weren't describing recruiting. You were describing hiring right now. You, in a quick interview, were deciding whether they were going to be a good fit or not. What I want to do is recruit them, give them the opportunity to see if they can be a good fit. That's right. Like, that's the difference between hiring and recruiting, right? Right.
And
Like,
that's what we're gonna get into the meat of today is what, because I think we're a little confused here, right? Like, we're only used to hearing an interview process and not used to knowing what does it look like to promote or recruit without sounding like an MLM, right? So what do we do, right? Heidi's in that position. She's got this person. She's really unsure. You know, she's not ecstatic about them, but she's like, oh, this person seems like they want to do this. They're telling me they do. They're money motivated. So what do you do?
No, it was, oh, sorry.
Oh, that's
let me
okay.
interrupt. I want to interrupt real quick, guys, because this is really important to me. Because Kristen just said this, okay? We have people on our team I would have not hired. I will be very transparent. If I was hiring you for my business, I would have not hired some of the people on our team. And there's people that are doing really, really well that I would have never hired, right? If you list, right? Like, think about, for those who are newer that don't know who Andrew Jimenez is. Andrew Jimenez is 28 years old. He is not only a senior vice president at Symmetry, a direct 130, he is on the advisory board. He is 28 years old. He got hired at 20, right? Like, there wasn't a reason to hire him, right? Like, there wasn't a reason to bring a 20-year-old kid on with no sales experience that was money hungry and just trying to dig his way out. And because of the culture and because of the leadership, he's literally now one of the advisory board members for the entire company. Like, so we don't know ever. I can't stress this enough. It's why my second interview questions are geared the way they are. Right? I'm asking them, can I challenge you, but mentor you, right? How hard are you willing to work? Because then I'm going to come back and say, hey, you told me you were willing to work your butt off, right? Like, do you see yourself becoming a leader people are willing to follow? You said you were willing to become a leader people are willing to follow. Are you doing those things? And you all are probably starting to recognize now how I ask you those questions, how I come back to you and I'll be like, oh, hey, well, you said this, but our actions mapping getting us there, right? So you probably everybody on this call has probably felt me do that to them.
It's putting the ball back in their court, right?
Correct.
Like, we're here to support them, to encourage them, to give them the opportunity. We're not here to do their jobs. So where I was going with Heidi is, okay, so what do you do when you're in a position that you're kind of like, I don't know if this person's going to work out? The answer is you give them the opportunity. Okay. And then we see how they go once they get into licensing, right? Once they get into contracting and working with carriers, training, etc. So in the beginning, and I know we've talked about this before, your interview is to get to know that person, right? Like Heidi was saying, it's just a conversation. It's not hard. And Seta, I had to think about it for a second. I'm coming for you next because you dove into the Seta.
Yeah.
Seta. I don't know, guys.
Seta.
I've been practicing
You
this
can just
week.
call her S.
It's
Just to make your
Seta.
life easier, just call her S.
Seta.
Oh, it's Seta. Yeah.
Seta. Y'all are gonna hear me saying this on every meeting because I'm practicing. But we are gonna put her in the hot spot in just a second. She's like, no, don't do it to me. But most of us come here way overthinking the hiring process, the conversations, the interviews that are popping up on our calendars, right? And then we're overthinking, is this person going to be a good fit? You're putting way too much pressure on yourselves. Just like with dialing and helping families, this is a volume sport. There are people, leads, right, that have put in their application, sent in their resume. And then we're taking an extra step, especially if you're at least in our bullpen, right? And we're sending them more information. If you're not in our bullpen, plug to be in our bullpen, but also make sure that you guys are on top of your workflows without having a system in place like a CRM to send out more information, to send your Calendly link to schedule interviews. You're going to become way too bogged down with just the manual labor and heavy lifting of it. So make sure that you spend some time preparing your workflows. Your schedule is huge. That's kind of the answer I was trying to draw out of Heidi, because if you do not prepare yourself and structure your time or your schedule, you can burn out very quickly trying to do this, right? That's the whole throwing a noodle at the wall, seeing if it sticks. That's not what we're here to do. We have statistics. We have data that has been analyzed, and we can see, right? Just like if we look at our recruiting numbers for the week, some people have better show rates. Why do you think that is? They're probably sending out some email reminders. They're probably going through and on their Calendly, there's required screening questions, right? Did you watch the videos? Do you understand this is 1099 commission only position, right? Right there, you're weeding a lot of the people out that aren't going to read the information or know what they're applying to get on your schedule. Now, blocking off your schedule is huge because you need to protect your dial time. You don't want things interfering with your dial time. Okay, if you're just having people call you to say, hey, I'm interested in this job, they could be calling you any time of the day. So with that being said, same thing with scheduling interviews. Don't leave your availability on your calendar wide open. Know what you're doing throughout the day. If you don't think that you're busy right now, it's likely because you're not mapping out your activity, right? Because when you start to write down and schedule out everything that this business entails, especially when you bring on building, you should be busy. If you're not, you're missing something. With that being said, busyness isn't always productive, right? So you have to have resources to call. And I know there have been some posts floating around, some people getting hunted down by Facebook police, right? There's a reason for that, because yes, this opportunity does sound similar to an MLM. Depending what kind of language you use on different platforms, they will flag you because they think that either you're a scam, you're an MLM, you're crossing their boundaries, etc. Right? So that's where we talked about before, just like Heidi was saying, all it is a conversation. When you're posting on social media or you're engaging via email with candidates, etc., be a person, be you. I know some of our builders, I don't know if anybody's mentioned it yet, I'm pretending to be you with some of these candidates, right? Like when they're texting before their appointment and they're saying, hey, I just wanted to know, like, is this completely remote? You know, they want to check in before they waste your time scheduling an interview. I'm there pretending to be Sandra. I'm over there pretending to be Brandy. Like, hey, it's so good to hear from you. Yes, this is how it works, right? That's nurturing the relationship. You don't want to get bogged down, though, with having to handhold so much or to give them all the information. That is not training up somebody to be self-sufficient. That is just training up somebody that is going to take more of your time and energy once they get licensed and in the thick of it, right? So you want to start from the interview process to already be in that posture of support challenge. That's where Trevor was saying, why are you asking these questions, right? Like, and I want you guys to think about that. What questions am I asking during my interview and why? If you're just asking just because you're like, I just got to have this conversation, I just need to ask some questions and get them signed up, likely they're not going to last very long. When Trevor is asking those questions, he's figuring out, right, what their why is, what fires them up, what motivates them, what is going to bog them down, right? Like, okay, they hate when people don't stick to their word, or they hate when people waste time on their calendar. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just make you aware up front, you know, this is a people business, right? This is what you're in for. So with that being said, I'm going to pivot real quick And I just want to ask Miss Seta.
Yeah, Seta.
She's like, I'm tired of you saying my name, woman. You had an awesome experience this week, I think, and I'd like for you to share about it because I think you were a little panicked, right? She had an interview pop up and was like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready. What do I do? I know she was only a little panicked because I think we all got a text message, but you know, we're here for that. And I want to know what that feeling was like before you started interviewing to our conversation after. Can you share?
Yeah. Well, I guess the day before I said, all I remember, it kind of like happened so fast that I was like, what just happened? But yeah, the minute I said, okay, I'm ready to build, I didn't know it was gonna be that fast. I thought it was gonna be, okay, I was waiting for step 1, 2, 3, and then I would be interviewing. So all I remember is the day I said, okay, I'm ready, the interview was the very next morning. I woke up and I didn't really realize at first that it was an interview. I thought it was, oh, I have I booked 2 appointments today. So I was trying to figure out who's this guy because I saw the name and I was like, I don't know this name. And it didn't click to me that it said interview. So, I did panic and I know I wrote you, Misty. I was like, I have an interview. And then like your response, because it was so cool and chill, like, okay, that's fine, sure. And then, I hit up Mel and I was like, oh my gosh, I have an interview. I don't know what to do. I'm not ready. Like I wasn't walked through like, and Mel was like, okay, cool. So both of your responses were like so cool that I just said, okay, don't think about it, just do it. And then I
And then
got
what
into,
happened?
and then
How
what
was the
happened?
conversation?
Yeah, it was good. It was, when you sent me the interview questions, I just read over it real quick and just realized, oh, I'm just getting to know him, like, hey, how are you? Okay, and then just listening. I just asked a question and just let him talk. And it was really when it came down to just doing it, and I think that is the best way to do it, is just go do it, jump right into it and do it. And then it was fine. It was not as scary as what I thought, like I didn't know what to expect really. But pivoting just a little bit, bullpen, that word bullpen, I realized it because in jiu-jitsu, when you do a tournament, you're brought in, you sign in, and you're put into the bullpen and you're ready to fight. That's where you're waiting, go, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like this, it's the same thing, but I didn't realize that, but I think the best now after the fact, after it's all done, yeah, that's the best way to do it is throw them in there. It's kind of like when you teach your kids to swim, they say, just throw them in there. You don't want to because you're like so scared, but it is the best way to have them learn, because instinctively it's like you have what it takes. And you won't know that until you're thrown right in there to just do it. But yeah, switching, just that little switch of, okay, you're gonna do this, you have to do this, you will do this. And then I did it. So
Well, congratulations. So you guys did hire your first agent for the Repenny agency. So congratulations. You guys are in the building business. And I'm so proud of you because you didn't let your panic or your fear hold you back. You said, you know what, I'm going to have this conversation. And that was probably very similar to how some of you felt the first time you were just doing dials, right? How do you learn? You get out there and do it. Trevor, you look like you want to say
what's
something.
going to
You're
happen
proud.
is, right, the agent's going to call you now and be like, I set my first appointment, I don't know what to do, you told me to get on the phone and dial and I have no idea what I'm doing or what I'm supposed to say, right? Can you relate to that? Right? Can we all relate to that exact same thing's going to happen? Right? So no, the way you felt there is how your agent feels, right? When they set their first appointment, right? When they set their first dial appointment, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just dialing, right? Like TJ typed in the other, right? Typed yesterday. I don't know what I'm doing. I did this. Mel saw it. I didn't know what I was doing. I just got on the phone and dialed and followed the scripts and just went and read everything and studied everything, right? Like, and figured it out as you go. And then you're like, okay, hey, I've game planned for this kind of person like 15 times now. I know, hey, if they're in their 30s and they're healthy, I can get a full payoff. Or if they're in their late 60s and all jacked up, I got to go critical period. It'll eventually like start to click. Interviewing's that same muscle, right? Like as we go through, it's that. So, because I need Misty and I haven't got a chance to talk. I need like 7-8 minutes on what I want to go over today when you want to squeeze me in, young lady.
And this call, that is
Yes.
perfectly fine. Not just yet, because Seta
Yeah, I know.
actually set me up perfectly for what I wanted to really
I know.
harp on today,
That's why
which
I asked
was,
permission.
I appreciate it. But knowing your why and deciding was really, and that's why I'm just gonna give Trevor a little pause for a second, because I do want to spend a few minutes talking about making that decision to build, right? This is not something that you can just dip your toes in. You can have a few interviews here and there and expect to build an agency. It does not work that way. So the same way that you can't just do a few dials, set a couple of appointments, right? Like some of us have been there. We dipped our toes in the water. I'm going to try this out. And we realized that we had to commit, right? We had to put in enough activity in a certain amount of time to get those results. So making that decision to build, and I know like Mary, you're pretty new here on the call, right? You just recently got started in licensing. This is all brand new to you. You're in a great position right now. Just taking all of this in, hearing the experiences and the conversations that we're having, and you're also in a prime position to build. Having no knowledge can keep us like hesitant towards bringing people onto our team. But if you ask me, recruiting should be part of your daily activity, just like dialing is, right? Because even as a producer, you're in business for yourself. You're in business not by yourself. We're here as a team. But when it comes to your finances, what happens when you get sick, right? What happens if you're not able to help families? If you have things to tend to, right? There's a reason why we're here. And maybe it's for obviously personal gain, right? Like we want to gain our time back. We want to be present with our families. But you got to know that you're also, by not recruiting, you're withholding that opportunity from other people. Okay. And so by recruiting, it's not that you're having to, like Trevor said, we're not here to hire. We're not here to decide, can this person do it? That is way too much pressure on me, if you ask me, right? Like their future, do I get to decide, can they do this or not? I'm not that kind of judge. That's for somebody else. So instead, I can say, hey, here's what's made agents successful. Here's how our team operates. If this is what you're looking for, then let's talk next steps, right? So having that decision in your mind, you're going to have it built out in your calendar, right? In the conversations that you're having, not just with recruits, but why are you not recruiting from your appointments, right? How many of us just go through and help a family and get done and say, okay, you know, I'll talk to you when your policy comes in. I'll give you a call in 6 months for a 1-year review. How about you finish up with that and say, hey, you know, I really loved working with you. I'm just curious, you know, we're really busy helping families. Do you know anybody that's looking for an opportunity, part-time, to make some extra money, or looking for a change, right? Easy as that. It's willingness to ask the questions. I think a big theme yesterday was people getting out of their own heads, right? Putting their ego aside and getting out in front of people. So the other thing is, aside from making that decision, and then I'm about to let Trevor have the mic, is you got to have resources, just like our leads. Okay. So if you want to have that time blocked off and you're supposed to be having interviews, how are you filling that time? Are you sharing the opportunity, right? Our bullpen is great because yes, building takes an investment. The awesome thing about our bullpen is that we're getting leads from all different platforms, right? We have about I don't know if you guys realize this, but we have about 300 applicants on average every week. Okay. That's way too many people for just Trevor to talk to. Okay. So obviously some of you have joined the bullpen, you're getting resources. And the reason I share that is because ZipRecruiter and things like that, although up front, they might seem like a good investment. Let me get started. I'm taking initiative in my business. These are still questions. Just like when you're getting started in the field, you're game planning with Trevor, you're talking to your mentor about how to offer certain products. Do the same thing when you're structuring your business, right? If we can tell you, hey, here's the most profitable time to dial, why can't you ask the question of, hey, when's the best time for me to structure interviews in my day? Hey, what's the best idea for me getting started of how to get some resources, interviews scheduled, right? These are conversations just like game planning for appointments. You're game planning for your business, right? Like, here's my 6-month plan. This is what I need to do. Here's the activity that I need to put in. And then you have to understand that with that decision comes commitment, because building is not instant gratification. This is a delayed gratification for sure. Because the thing is that here, if you're putting somebody's sales above them as a person and their quality of life, you're not going to get the results you want. You have to be willing, like Trevor, to challenge that person, to support and encourage, right? Just like Brandy earlier on the call. We're all going to go through hard times, and there's going to be days where we don't want to pick up the phone. There's going to be days where we feel like we don't want to be in this business, right? But we need to have that support system around us, this team, and even like our spouses, right? Our partners that are awesome support systems for us to be able to say, hey, remember why you got in this in the first place, right? Remember what this business has done for you. Remember what this opportunity has done for you as a person. And look where you are today, right? Emily, girl, you're so new and you're learning so much so fast. And 3 months from now, you're going to be like, holy crap, I am a whole new person. I love it. And I'm going to be addicted to growth. I'm going to keep growing, right? So that's what you guys want to keep in mind, is you have to decide, commit, and put in the activity. It's no different than doing the dials, guys. It's very similar. And I just love what Seda said about being in the bullpen. When you make that decision and you're in, that means you're ready and you're ready to fight, right? So make that type of decision and commitment for yourself and for your business, and then watch what happens. Trevor?
You teed me up pretty good there.
Oh, did I?
You did. We haven't even got to talk about this yet.
Oh, we share brainwaves
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah, you know, give a monkey a machine gun once in a while, we'll hit something. So, yeah, like, so really what I want to talk about today is, right, like, how are we leading from the front? And I'm going to ask you guys for sincere feedback on whether you think we do this or not. Now, here's the thing. You can do like Heidi, right? You guys can do your own ads, but understand we have the candidates coming in, and here's the advantage we have here that pretty much no one has at Symmetry, okay? Very, very few people at Symmetry have had a business where they have spent previously 6 figures at Indeed, okay? You have a mentor that has, okay? You got to remember, our old business, we were hiring all the time for all kinds of positions because we had to hire laborers, we had to hire office staff. We always had Indeed ads out. Literally every week of the year, I had a rep there, okay? Part of the reason we're able to drive the amount of resumes we can, because trust me, I have everybody at Symmetry asking me how we're doing it now. And I said, all you have to do is go spend 6 figures at Indeed and they won't flag you. Okay. It's real simple, right? Well, guess what? You guys don't have to, right? We have the bullpen and the resumes coming in that we're linked onto my old Indeed account. So, you know, knock on wood, right? I also know how Indeed wants their ads written, right? And what they want done. Okay. There's specifics they want on there, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. So when I'm writing our job descriptions, what you guys don't know is Misty and I have beta tested hundreds of job descriptions, literal hundreds. And we beta test them and we say, okay, hey, we're going to put this job description now, tweak this, put it in 5 cities. We tweak it, put it in this, tweak it, put it in that. You guys don't have to worry about that. That's why we built the bullpen, because we're going to handle all of that for you. So you can just interview, right? So you can just take the candidates, follow up, get in front of them. All right. So here are the 7 things you all need to be doing every day. Okay. And then I want you guys to be honest with me about this. I want you guys to say, do you think I'm doing this for you? Okay. First, did you set an example today? Ask yourself, did you set an example? Were you the agent that you want your agents to follow? I ask myself that every day. Am I the agent that I would want to follow, right? Like, am I being the mentor that if I, went to them, would they do that? Okay? Like, ask yourself that question, right? Like, are you willing to take a later call when a new agent's, trying to get a thing closed, right? Like, are you willing to do those little things, right? To do that, did you set an example? The next one, who did I equip today? Right? Who did I equip today? Right? For Walnetta, Anna, Kristen, who have been here longer, right? When you look at the tools we have available to you guys today, right? And the training we're putting in place for that, right? Can you confidently go say, yes, our mentor is helping equip people? Can we get no head nods? No, I'm not. Bitrix is terrible.
Yes.
It's awful. We should get rid of it.
We get rid of it, I quit.
Me too. Right? But I know what you guys got to remember. I'm not that far from the sun, guys, right? I haven't been here 10 years. A lot of this exists because I know what I went through when I started. I was like, oh, I just kept taking notes, right? You guys want to see something crazy? Okay. Want to talk about like notes I'm taking all the time? Watch this. These are notes I am constantly taking about things I need to do and what I want to do here. Okay. And I have these notes all day, every day. And some of those are really, really long. Okay. And it might look crazy. They're very organized. I have them in order. I have certain categories, but it's like, okay. And here's like things I do. Sometimes an agent will be like, ask me this. And I'm like, okay. Then if I get asked twice, I'm like, oh, and then it's third time. It's like, okay, that's a process problem, right? Like now I see a breakdown. That's a process. Okay. There's a process we can fix, right? So as you're going through, are you asking yourself, right? Are you being there? Think about in corporate America, like June, like for someone that worked at a multi-billion-dollar company. So, June was at PayPal, right? For 20 years and started at eBay, right? Like, right. Think about leadership development there, right? Like what did that look like there versus just the short time you've been here?
Basically, very little. I mean, it depends. So they're very selective on who they developed. And
Right.
so if you got that right mentor, you're good. If you don't, you got a survival mode. So over here, lots of opportunity to get mentored up, coached up, resources. I mean, Trevor's always, I'm bugging him, probably not as much as I should be, but he's always available whenever I call, and I'm pretty sure everybody notices that too.
Right. So, right. Like, what are you doing to help develop that? Because that includes yourself, right? So, 3, how many clients did you see that day? Are you leading from the front and selling? We sell and we build. We got to do both, right? Nobody here wants to be homeless, right? So we got to produce as well, right? And why are you giving up so easy during the day when you're dialing? Right? Why are you giving up so easy? If your goal is to make 80 grand, 30 grand, 300 grand, why are you giving up so easy when you're going to set your appointments? Because some stranger that you're never going to meet in your life said some mean words to you? Like, become a duck, let the water roll off your back. Right. But, did you dial and tell? Right. Like, I like how, Sarah Papa says that, right? She talked about that on the Purdy National call, right? I dial and tell, right? Right. We know the math. If you set 15 to 20 appointments a week, you will just make money here by default. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be great. You can frankly be bad. But if you set that many appointments, you will start making money here, right? Like you will have one call close appointments, right? Look at Emily, right? Emily had all those. She called me 7 times last night, right? She also learned she should have called me a lot sooner, right? But she knows now, right? She was like, okay, hey, like I should have done that, right? I could tell everybody to do it. Like when Scott and I talk about how often I called them, I just think people just don't believe me. Like I'm not joking when I say I asked him and just harassed him all the time. Hey, text message. Hey, this. Hey, that. Right. And is it? I always ask myself too. Is this a phone call or a text? Right. Like should that be there? So right. So did I set an example today? Were you the agent you want to follow? Who did I equip today, and what does that look like? Okay. 3. How many clients did I see? Who did I hire and help become a new writer today? That's number 4. Right. Every day, who did I hire? And who did I help become a new writer? That's pretty clear. Okay. Next. How did you grow today? Did you try to actually grow, or do you have a plan to grow, but you're not actually growing? Right? Do you have a journal? Right? Can you pick up your journal? Is your journal within reach? Right? Like, do you have a journal that you can just grab that's a leadership journal that you can really look at? Right? Like, are you asking those questions or challenges, right? Are you working on leadership? Are you working on business development? Are you going out and reading, like core leadership books, right? Like John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws. Listen, that is like on mine. So like I have some like core books. That's a core book for me, right? Like is that book, right? And you shouldn't read it in 3 days. You're not going to get enough out of it, right? Like, so I don't remember where I was talking about this, but I was talking about this on a call. Oh, in our sales training yesterday, right? I had to actually slow my book goal back because I wasn't getting enough out of the books I was reading. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm still going to read like 50 plus books this year, but I just had a more aggressive goal. But I'm probably going to knock out 50 books, right? Like think about it. If you knocked out 25 books this year, how much further ahead would you be from where you are now to where you want to be? Even if you knocked out half of that, right? But are you really looking at how'd you grow today? Next, association. Okay. Who did you associate with, and who did you speak with who was ahead of you living the life that you want to live? Okay. And you get those relationships by giving, right? Not by taking, by bringing value to them, right? Like I can't just call Ryan Miller and be like, hey, Ryan, you're going to be my friend. You have no choice in it. For those who don't know who Ryan Miller is, he's, one of, 7 managing partners here, right? I can't call Danny Young and make Danny Young be my friend, right? But guess what? If you start making waves here, okay, you'll get people's attention, right? Like something I want to share on this call because it is a team effort. Okay, guys, right now, right? We're still we haven't broke out yet. We're still part of Scott and Kelly's like base shop, right? So what that means is as you have your agency, you have your base shop. Until you reach agency ownership, you were part of your mentor's base shop. Just like Scott's part of Kevin's, right? Kevin has 4 direct 130s, right? So as you see that side of it, do you guys know we have more ready to writes than Sarah Reinecke in the base shop this year? So I found that out yesterday, by the way. Little birdie told me. So, but right, like that's awesome. But that's a team effort, right? And think about where this can grow as a team from here, right? Yes, Heidi, our base shop has more than them. Scott and Kelly's base shop is 3rd within all of Symmetry this year for ready to writes because of us, right? Like 3rd. And every base shop within Symmetry right now.
And I just have to say, I'm going to pivot. It is a team effort, but definitely congrats to you, Mr. Trevor, because y'all already know if you do not have a leader that you can lean on and lead from the front, this would not happen. I mean, there's just no way. So yes, it is definitely a team effort with you leading the way. And we are very grateful for you setting it out because what do we say here? Best copycat wins. And we've got a great someone to copy.
Yeah. Like, and guys, what I'm doing is I'm copying the other leaders ahead of us. I'm copying Jim Larson. I'm copying Jamie Susie. I'm copying Kelly Bush. I'm copying Sarah Reineke. I'm copying Andrew Jimenez and the Roethlisbergers, right? Like, I'm just like, right? And what will happen is why what I just said is important. As you reach out and reach up, right? Like, you will see that it's there. Yeah, we are, hold on. I'm looking at,
So while he's pulling the numbers up, I
Yeah,
just have
I'm
to
pulling it
say
up 'cause I wanna
that
see it.
excites me because as a team effort, it's you guys showing up to office hours too. And it's not just, hey, you know, just like submit is for show and production is for dough. It's just like the numbers here in recruiting, right? Like you can recruit all you want, but if you're not producing producers, are you really doing anything? So having ready to writes, people that are not just getting through their Excel course, but actually plugging in, getting licensed and getting ready to help families, that is huge. And that is a definite team effort there. So thank you, especially to our managers who are showing up, and even to our new people like Emily, who are being very transparent and making it very easy for new people to plug in and to achieve this success too.
yeah, like on new writers, right? Like, here's who we're ahead of. Okay, year to date. We are ahead of the Schnitzers, the Reinekes, the Belfours, the Millers, Federico, Fines, the Cooks, the Leaks, the Hunts, the Bushes, McManamans, Martinez, Griffin, Diaz, and Simmons. Right? Like, trying to catch JB and Corey is hard at the base shop. They're number one.
So what I want to know is, we know Trevor is breaking out as AO. Who's coming in right behind him?
Oh,
I
like
saw
it.
Juaneta's hand said, whoop.
Yeah,
It's gonna be Juaneta. Is it gonna be Anna? Is it gonna be Kristen?
right.
It's gonna be Heidi. I am very, very proud of you guys. You guys have taken building and just gone with it, run with it, especially even our newer people that are like, we have no idea what we're doing, but we're here for it. So congratulations, and please continue to reach out. You guys are doing phenomenal, right? It's the people that show up on these calls. You hear it all the time. Show up in office hours, show up on our phones. Those are the people that are seeing success here. So if you're like, hey, maybe I'm not reaching out enough, just ask one of us. Be blunt. Call us and say, hey, should I be calling you more? The answer is probably yeah.
It's always yes. Always yes. It's never not yes.
Yes.
Look at your
Well-
I'm serious. Go look at your cell phone. Look at who you call the most. And if your mentor isn't in the top 3, you're not talking to them enough. Like, that's just a fact. So, what's up, Miss Allison?
Hey,
Hey.
I wanted to tell y'all, we're excited because we just hired our own recruiter. Just because life is crazy, but just talking about Trevor, I'm just so thankful because me being able to be a recruiter for Trevor when I was training her yesterday, I mean, it was just all the knowledge and all the leadership. It just made things so much easier. And Misty's been saying this whole time, like, just duplicate, like, just this, duplicate what you did and, do it for somebody else. And so anyways, we're just really excited to see all this happening. And I wanted her to be on this call, but she couldn't make it. So hopefully y'all meet her, but her name's Kristen, and just really excited about everything. So I just wanted to share with y'all.
Awesome. So yeah,
is-
so on that note, right? Let's talk about this. This is the perfect time because the last one is who did I praise publicly today? Right? Ask yourself that question. Who did you praise publicly? Right? Like, I'm in the position now that this is the first time I'm getting to meet Miss Mary, right? Like, but this is how you get in front of me is you come to a call, you come with your camera on. I'm like, okay, hey, Mary's showing up. That's mentally noted in my head. Like, oh, hey, Mary's here, right? Mary said, hey, let's jump in on a call, right? Like, I'm going to notice those kind of things because, right, like, as we get further from the sun, I don't know, who's there, right? But again, we've talked about it. Why we post is we want everyone to see our wins, but also, right, like, right, like, how it feels like when you like post a win and everybody hypes you up, it feels good, right? So remember that when you see someone else do it, be a leader, be an example of not just, I'm too busy to like even give them a love tap and give them a heart. That like literally likes a post in Telegram. 2 clicks of your thumb, right? Like think about like what that does, especially for a new person who just posted their DCAs for the first time, right? Think about how you felt there that first time you were making your phone calls, right? So, when, they get their first sale, when they make it into opt, right? Like when, those different types of things, like, right? Are you celebrating them? And make sure you try to do that. You probably have all noticed, I always say we, I don't say me, because I know it's not just me, right? Like this is like, it's a we thing, right? And I really genuinely mean that, but people are gonna, say that. And remember this, texts, like Telegram things, those are for information. Hey, right? Like 53-year-old, overweight, diabetic, smoker, COPD. Texts are for information. Hey, where do I go find this, right? You will ask Mr. Keith, right? And I like picking him up about this. Keith constantly wants me to do stuff for him. I will tell him where it is, but because he knows I know the answer. So he texts me, right? And he also texts Scott and does the same thing. I know he does, right? So like, but we're making him go learn, because then guess what? He can tell his agents, hey, that's where it is. It's the Karate Kid thing, right? We're trying to Mr. like Miyagi you, right? But that's what you got to do, right? Like there of where it's going. But calls are for inspiration, okay? So remember that. Texts are for information. Calls are for inspiration. I'll also write messages. You see, I write messages to the whole team. If I'm up, like doing my devotional stuff and I'm thinking about stuff, I'll write a message. I don't care if it's 3 or 4 in the morning when I'm up doing it, right? So just think about like that when you're talking to people, right? And remember, we're trying to make everyone, I'm trying to help you all become system dependent, right? I don't need you to be dependent on me. I want you to be dependent on HQ and the LMS. I want you to be dependent on Bittrex. I want you to be dependent on carrier training, right? This isn't about, right? I want you to be dependent on school and the trainings we're putting in there, right? Like I'm trying to make everyone system dependent, not Trevor dependent, right? Because, right, like Trevor and Mel are going to start winning some nice trips here, and I'm not going to be here to answer 27 phone calls a day, right? So like, just keep that in mind, right? You want to do that for your agents. Don't make them dependent upon you. Make them dependent upon the system, right? Like that's really important. All right, that's why we got time for a 5-minute potty break, and I will let Mrs. Whitlock finish up.
I have nothing else to say. I think we bounced on all the things that I wanted to this week, but you guys know if you have questions, if you guys have struggles, if you guys have wins, we're here for it. We're here for you, whether it's work related or not, right? So don't be a stranger. Don't deal with your funk by yourself. Reach out. And honestly, guys, like I said, definitely take advantage of the leadership and the mentorship that you have right now, right? Like you guys have direct access to someone who is creating just chaos and symmetry, right? Ask him how he's doing it. Ask him, how can I make my schedule better? How can I structure my work day to be more profitable, right? Like whatever those things, those hard points are, the more we ignore it, the longer it's going to take for us to adjust, right? So address it and let's tweak our schedule, our systems, our conversations, our mindset, and then reflect again in 1 week. But great job this week. I'm very proud of everybody putting in the activity and the effort. And I'm excited to see what happens over the next week. I think that we are off to an awesome start. So potty break. Thank you guys for showing up for your business, for yourselves, and for our call today. And we'll see you in about 5 minutes on the Summers call. Bye, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Bye.